Good morning, Elle Ingalls here at pressure-free.com. That's my website. You can check it out. I have a lot of videos on there and testimonials of people who've worked for me. The subject today is do-overs, and I'm going to start with tools first today, though. Um, this is something that I've recently coached with a client. Over the years, I've coached it, and I think it's super helpful when you feel there's something going on, maybe someone in your life who's you're just not quite aligning with or resonating with. Like you have to do business with them, or you have to do things with them, but you're just feeling you always feel a little strange in their presence. Something just isn't quite clicking, or or you've parted ways with a friend, like something has changed. So my tool is bless and release, assume the best. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Whenever we feel a tension with another person, or it could even be a position that you once held in a company. So you feel like this friction when you think about it, and it comes in your head and it's just constantly just messing with you. I use this phrase, bless and release, like catch and release with a fish, but we're doing it in terms of a person. So the situation comes up in your head, the person comes up in your head, and you start to feel the tension right in that moment. I imagine just blessing and releasing, blessing and releasing. And then to make it really stick, assume the best. Assume the best in terms of whatever's happening in that person's life goes really well, that that person is healthy, that that person um, isn't roiling with thoughts the same way you are, maybe, uh, that you really truly assume the best for them. When you can get to that point, then something really interesting starts to happen. First of all, you release your own tension about the person or situation, but you're literally opening up to that person for them to feel better too. And that kind of idea of like do no harm. So bless and release, assume the best. I'm going to give an example here. Um, I was working with someone who was no longer in a relationship, but had to interact with that person. And they were arriving at an event, and typically the whole day, leading up to the event, the person would just be tense, thinking about what was going to transpire when they were together. And in this case, they kept bless and releasing, assume the best, bless and releasing, assume the best. And when they got to the event, the person was so nice and so wonderful to them. It was really a game changer. And I've thought about that story often, and how it's not easy to bless and release. And I think one of the reasons is another one of my tools. It's called the Spirit of Contribution. So I created this tool from work by Dr. Wallace Wattles. Um, Wattles wrote books in the early 1900s, and in his book, The Science of Being Rich, he talks about moving into contribution instead of competition. So when we feel any sort of competitive nature with another person, um, it's very easy to trigger the stress response. Now we're going to underperform a little bit. Now it's just not going to be quite as cohesive and connected as we would like it to be. And so this bless and release, assume the best is really contribution in action, contribution to ourselves, and also contribution to the situation, the other people. Um, and it's not always easy to step into that. It's definitely to me a higher level way of being. I should share my screen here for a sec. Let me see if I can pull this up. I'll pull up a chart that I was using with some clients recently. And if you're on your phone, I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see this. If you're on computer, you can probably see it better. Um, I'll drop this chart in the chat, in the comments after. Let's share the screen. So this is the chart that I share with my clients. I call it, oh, that's not it. Wrong chart. Let me pop up another one here. Pressure-free charts. We want above the line. I can share that one too, but staying above the line to live pressure free. So I created this thought about above the line. I know a lot of other people think about it too, but it came to me as a violin teacher. So I would notice my students playing along and then they make a mistake and they go, oh no, and all the energy goes under the line. And so I started to think about how can I keep them above the line? And that's when I started to have them just lift their instrument, lift their head, smile, and know that everything's going to be okay. Bless and release the mistake. Assume that we can fix it. So if you take a look at this chart, the ways of being above the chart, like how do you really want to be? Um, what in here really pings for you? Like what ways of interacting in the world are important to you? So here's some of them: professional, mature, friendly, collaborative, loving, kind, generous, decisive, willing, accomplished, leader, well-mannered, organized, playful, passionate, bold, initiating, forgiving, patient, focused. And then below the line, you can look at the words below. Of course, there's so many words you could put above and below the line. These are just a few. But what's in there that you wish you didn't exhibit so much? So amateur, mediocre, lazy. Lazy is one of mine for sure. Messy, selfish. Messy, my desk is a little messy right now. Needy, bossy, bullying, harsh, critical, picky, judgmental, unforgiving, unreliable. Are you late often? Do you feel like you're a little bit unreliable? Exhausting, late. Oh, I do have late on here. Reckless, cavalier, inflexible, sloppy, uncomplimentary. So with this list, you can kind of decide, okay, I want to really move into this a little more. I want to be a little more patient. Certainly, pressure-free living has helped me become so much more patient. I used to be a very impatient person. Like I'm very structured and I like to go boom, 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 get everything done, be very efficient. And sometimes I would get impatient for sure. And so then you can look below and say, okay, what do I move away from? What do I want to move away from a little bit? What action can I take today that moves me more above the line? So this above the line thing, I'll stop the share. This above the line idea is so helpful in thinking about do-overs. So if you're anything like me, you have moments in your life that you wish you could do over. I had one of those yesterday. I just really wish I could do something over because I feel it could have been so much better. And so when we have one of those do-over moments, we can really move into guilt, to shame, to blame. We can definitely trigger the stress response when we've done something that was less than what we thought it could be. And so, yeah, that can create just a lot of tension and worry, and feelings of shame and guilt. So noticing that you're starting to think about the event again, you can use bless and release. If you can't go back to that moment or redo something, then you can bless and release the moment and assume the best for yourself moving forward. Even just blessing, releasing and relaxing your abs at the same time. It's like you're just giving a better energy to yourself and to the past situation too. You have no idea how the other people feel that were with you with the do-over. Or maybe you do. If you live with them, you might know. Um, and so there you can make amends or you can, reframe. You can change what you want to think about that. And maybe you can do a do-over. I know I had an audition once for a symphony, and there was just one excerpt that I so bombed it. Like I just lost my focus. And the audition is behind a screen. They can't see you. Um, and I just remember walking out the door just like so dejected, my head down, like I was just so dejected. Um, and just really couldn't believe that I could play so badly in an audition. And so for a couple of weeks, like it would still come up in my head. I can't believe you bombed that. I can't believe you played like that. And so I would have to keep flipping the switch on that and bless and release. Sometimes for entrepreneurs, if you're working to have a particular client in your business and it doesn't happen, we can get so dejected. The rejection can feel tough. If you're in sales, the rejection can feel tough. Any sort of rejection can feel very, very disconcerting and tough on us. And so the memory can get even more and more fictionalized and tighter and tighter and tighter. So whenever you have a rejection of any kind, I remember one of my coaches, business coaches, saying it could be a protection. Maybe that client that you really wanted to have come work with you was not an ideal client for your work. They wouldn't have made the progress that you would have hoped for them. So then you're like, okay, all right, that's a possibility, right? So then it's a little easier to do that bless and release and then assume success for the client that didn't come in with you or the company who didn't hire you for the work or whatever it is that you do for a living or the promotion that you didn't get. Like I see that a lot of time with my clients who I work with in corporate, that they're up for a possible promotion, they're applying for an up leveling in their career, and it goes to someone else. There can be like some hidden resentments or feelings, and so it's like, okay, bless and release, and assume the best for that person. I've had people who have like been the manager of someone and then someone leapfrogs and now they're managing them. And all sorts of interesting things can happen in those scenarios. Plus, if it's the person I'm coaching who's done the leapfrogging, like how I help them position themselves and understand what that now means in the role. It can really change the dynamics within their team, their company, what's happening there. So those are all interesting things. I've seen that in the orchestra world too. So blast and release, assume success, spirit of contribution. Like when you walk through a doorway, that's when I tend to practice this tool. Like I walk through a doorway and then I'll just ask, how can I contribute? And I move into my very best for that. And sometimes I want to do over. Maybe sometimes you do too. So we get to release those times that we can't make a do-over happen and hopefully take a little lesson from something and bring that forward into the next occasion and not be so hard on ourselves. Like I often, in fact, I talked about this with a client yesterday who coaches, he's a coach, and he says, yeah, his clients are so hard on themselves. We're hard on ourselves. We are not our own best friend. It's like if you had your own best friend on your shoulder, instead of that voice that's so hypercritical, what would the best friend voice say to you? It's okay. It's a new day. You get to start over. Um, you get to take that as a lesson and move on, right? So I hope this is helpful. I hope you have a really great pressure-free day.